told her how to say Bito miempo ayamuno, which means, your father, where is he being? She seemed to wonder what this had to do with her question, but she picked out one of the Waorani men who was enjoying our English gibberish and asked him. He answered simply, Dubai. I explained to her that the word means already. His father was already dead. I added, did he get sick and die, or did he die old? The warrior snorted at my ridiculous question and clarified with dramatic gestures that his father had been killed with spears. Did he just say what I think he said? The girl asked. Was his father speared to death? Who would do such a terrible thing? I informed her that the only people I knew of in Ecuador who had speared anyone in the 20th century were Waorani. I didn't expect her to take my word for it, and she didn't disappoint me. One of the other students picked a Waorani woman and asked her the same question. Same answer. After one more try with similar results, two girls in the group asked me to ask Minkai's wife Umpode the question. From the whispering I overheard, I gathered that they were sure someone as loving and as sweet as Umpode couldn't have been traumatized by something as horrible as the vicious murder of her father. But Umpode answered, my father, my two brothers, she counted them on her fingers, my mother and my baby sister. There seemed to be more, but she stopped there. All of them were speared to death and hacked with machetes. Then she pointed at the oldest warrior in the camp, who was quietly sharing a stump with one of the young male visitors. Furious and hating us, Dabo killed us all. My feisty tribal grandmother knew what the question was, so she decided to give her answer. She told how her family had been ambushed by another clan of Waorani. When the spearing was over, only she and another girl who was just reaching marriageable age were left alive. When she finished her narrative, which I hardly needed to interpret because her pantomime was as clear to the students as her words were to me, she pointed to one of the warriors I was sitting with and stated matter-of-factly, he killed my family and made me his wife. One of the girls in the group stammered, how could she possibly live with the man who had killed her whole family? I explained that the other girl who was kidnapped with Dawa was overheard complaining about her family being speared. One of the raiders ran a spear through her, and they left her on the trail to die an agonizing death alone, with no one to even bury her body. I explained it wasn't like Dawa had much of a choice. Then it occurred to me that these young people did not know my relationship to the tribe. I was sitting between Dawa's husband, Kimo, and Minkai, who had adopted me into his family when I was a boy. Both of them had speared those missionaries to death back in 1956. Dewey was sitting across the circle from me. He had been part of that killing raid as well. They speared my father, too, I informed the group. I had my arm around Kimo, and Minkai was leaning on me and holding my hand in the familiarity that Waorani men feel free to express. My father, I told the young lady who had started this conversation, was one of those 5 missionaries you referred to. Chapter 1. Back to the Stone Age. November 1994. The head flight attendant had given us the customary briefing before takeoff. It was obvious that her first language was not English. I couldn't help but feel a sense of excitement as the powerful engines on the 757 pushed me back into the seat. I love to fly, but not back where I was sitting. I like the left front seat, where I can select my destination through the smallest manipulations of the controls. My stomach goes queasy every time a pilot I don't know, with my life in his hands, pulls back the power levers and we begin to decelerate while still pointing up at an alarming angle. In the small aircraft I fly, reducing power with the nose pointed at the sky is an invitation to stall and spin. But my mind was on other things this night. I tilted the seat back and closed my eyes. If they have Aunt Rachel's body ready, I should be on my way down to the jungle early the next morning, I thought. We had been expecting the call, but I still was not ready for it. Hi, is this Steve? I could tell the voice on the other end was calling from outside the United States. I'm sorry to have to tell you that your Aunt Rachel died this afternoon. I think it would be good if someone from the family could come down. Remember, down here we have to bury within 24 hours. Aunt Rachel had been in Quito to receive treatments for cancer, but I knew she had wanted to be buried at home, in the jungle, with the people she loved.